Hey there, cadets. Today we're going to talk about taking care of your oboe. There are a couple of things that you are going to need, some materials that you will need. Cork grease is a fantastic thing. You should always have some with you because you have many parts of cork to stay lubricated so that the instrument goes together easily. You'll have cork on your reed and on each of the upper and the lower joints. The other thing you will need is a silk swab. My silk swab looks like a knot. Silk swab looks like this, and we have a knot. The first thing you need to do there is to take the knot out, because that will get stuck in your instrument, and that is no fun. So after you have played your instrument, you will swab it out. So what I do for this is I disassemble my instrument and put it in the case. So again, the opposite way that I put it together. And then I swab out each part individually. There should be a weighted end on your swab, and that goes in first. And we always go from the bigger side to the smaller side. So this will just drop through, and because the swab might not touch all the parts on the bell, I kind of run it back and forth just a little bit like this and pull through. Same thing with the second joint, the lower joint. I'm going to turn it upside down, put the weighted end in first, and then just pull it through. Once is usually enough. Now the top joint gets very, very narrow. If you look in there, there's a teeny tiny hole in there. So we are not going to pull the swab all the way through because that is how swabs get stuck. So we'll start with the larger end of the instrument, drop it through, and I'm just going to pull it through to right there. I can see the ends of the swab on each side, and I'm going to grab the back end and pull it back out. So I'll show you that one more time because we do not want to get this part stuck. It's very difficult to get out. The weighted end goes in the bottom, drop it through, and we're just going to pull until right here. So we've got swab on each end, and then you'll pull it backwards. I don't know, and that should soak up any condensation or any moisture that you have in there. Putting your swab away, sometimes it's faster just to roll it up like this, but if you do that, it's going to get pretty squished and small. So what I do is I let it stay open like this, and then I fold it, and then let it stay thick before I roll it up. So that way, my swab stays broad and will still touch all the sides of the instrument without getting squished. Now the cork grease I showed you in the assembly, but just in case you need a refresher, from time to time all of your joints will need greasing, and this is probably something to do on an as-needed basis, or you could try to do it maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on your area and the humidity there. So you just put a little bit on there, and I sometimes use my finger as well, especially when my cork grease is looking a little wonky, and just rub it around the sides. That's all there is to that. So that is caring for your instrument with cork grease. Another great tool to have is a paintbrush or an unused eyeshadow brush. And what we're going to do with this is there are a lot of mechanisms here and a lot of places for dust to collect. So just with the brush, I'm just going to get in there very carefully to dust out. Don't ever use a Q-tip or anything really firm because there are little springs in there that you can put in the wrong place and then your oboe won't play. And that's never fun. So I would like to talk to you also a little bit about reed care. You have a couple of options for reed storage. Your reeds may come in cases that look like this, and you pull them out this way, and they may have some cotton down here in the end. Always put those in tip first, very carefully, and don't ever squish or jam it down in there. That's one style of reed case, and it's okay. There's another style of reed case that looks like this, and this one can be kind of tricky because you want to make sure that the reed lays flat instead of up on its side in the case, because you might crunch your reed. So it can be a little bit of a balancing act, but you'll get the hang of it. The best way to store your reeds, in my opinion, is in a case like this. You'll see that it has an individual place for each reed, and you can have multiple reeds at once, which is also a great thing because you really should have 3 working reeds at any time. And what I like about this is it's got this little tabby thing that will stick up for you, so that way you're not trying to grip the reed itself. Whenever you're removing the reed from the case, be very careful that you don't touch the tip. The tip is very fragile, and we want to be careful not to touch that. And the final style of case, which is also better than the cases that your reeds come in, is a multi-reed case. I've only got 1 reed in here. What I don't like about this one is you can see when you have multiple reeds in here, they can be kind of difficult to get out. But we always want to grab them at the cork for that and never the tip of the reed again because it's so fragile. Caring for your reeds, sometimes it gets gunky in there, especially if your band class is right after lunch and you don't get a chance to brush your teeth, and just any old time you've got some kind of stuff happening inside your mouth, it can get gunked up. And one thing that you can do, you can actually take a piece of a pipe cleaner and you can actually run it through your reed. Now you have to be careful with this. Only do this when the reed is wet, because then it's a little bit more malleable. But you'll just insert the pipe cleaner into the bottom of the reed. It'll come out the top, and usually there'll be a nice chunk of gunk up there. And you just pull it all the way through, very slowly and always in a very straight line, and it will not damage the tip of the reed if you do it very carefully like that. And some self-care, finally, when you are using and playing the oboe, I highly recommend using a neck strap. And my neck strap just has a hook on it, but you can get neck straps that have pieces of leather there, like a sleeve, to go on your oboe. This is going to help support the weight of the instrument because it can get kind of heavy on this thumb, and that actually can cause a repetitive injury called tendonitis. It's a little painful. If your arm starts hurting in this area when you're playing, then you definitely need to be wearing a neck strap. And the neck strap, when the instrument is assembled, it will go on the thumb rest. Mine hooks through because I have a ring. You may not have a ring, but again, that piece of leather will have a slit in it for you to attach it to the instrument. But this will help you prevent that tendonitis issue and extend your playing career.